Hi everybody and welcome back to the channel again. This is going to be for CVE-2024-0012, which is again authentication bypassing management web interface, which has a lot in common. There's a lot of similarities in the way we're dealing with it as with 9474, and arguably as far as the best practice is concerned, arguably this is actually a really good idea anyway, which would have helped with both of them. So the plan being that we are going to, instead of just this one where we're going to run it through a data plane interface, what we're actually going to do now is we're going to look at that traffic. We're going to decrypt that traffic using SSL inbound decryption, and we are going to be able to apply those threats to it. Now, the interesting thing is that if we look into here, there are some threat, if I can find them, there are some threat IDs. So by default, 746, 747, and 752, if I remember off the top of my head, are critical severity alerts. They are critical severity. However, they are alert. They're not block. And of course, that's what we want to do. So the first part of this is going to be to create the certificate for the SSL TLS profile for the management. Then we're going to make sure that's accepted all round. We're going to create a firewall cert, and then we're going to do the inbound inspection. Okay, so initially we can see that we've got this, which is created because of this version of PANOS. And if we just expand this slightly here, we can see that we've got the all the details there, that it's already done, and then our certificate is here. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a firewall root cert that we're going to use to sign it, because I don't have PKI infrastructure, so I'm going to use this. There's no signing request or anything. So I'm going to do this as locally generated firewall root cert. Okay, that is going to be lab01.mode44.local, or even local. Okay, it's not going to be signed by anybody. It's going to be a certificate authority, and we're going to add the country, going to add the organization, oh hang on, I've gone absolutely insane there, just give me a second, I need to bin that one as well, and then go to here. Okay, and then I'm going to do an email, which is just going to be support. We have all the settings there that we're going to use. I'm going to generate that certificate. That successfully generated certificate. Now I'm going to create because we're going to go for inbound, because essentially we have to use this SSL TLS profile on the management server, which is under the device setup management configurations. I want to make sure that it covers every eventuality. So this is going to be our management cert. And I'm going to make it a wildcard dot mode44.local. Okay, it's going to be signed by the firewall root. And again, I'm going to give it the UK. I give it the organization. For limited. Okay, now for the hostname DNS, I'm going to give it the wildcard again. And then because we might want to browse to this by IP address, I'm going to give it the IP address 192.168.0.105. Oh. .0.105, and then we're going to give it the other IP address as well, which is 92. Okay, I'll just really quickly explain that. So basically this is on my lab network, which is a rat's nest of the insane ramblings of me as I'm building stuff as I go. So basically all these reside on my network, but this is going to represent our internet interface, basically our internet facing zone. Okay, so we're going to generate that. Okay, now next thing we're going to do is going to create a SSL TLS profile, which is going to be our management profile. And if we look rather helpfully above, we have minimum version. We're going to use the certificate, sorry, for the management cert, and then we're going to go for minimum version of 1.3 and then maximum version of 1.3, which then gives us these selections already there because that's the only thing it supports. Okay, that is going to be added to here. In its own time. Okay, at the minute we've got the TLS 1.3 default, that's the one that we saw previously, which is what we were replacing. I'm going to place it with the management profile, which is there. Click OK. Okay, so now we have that, and we have the management profile applied. So now what we need to do is we need to create the SSL inbound, and then create the rules that we're going to do our vulnerability inspection on. Okay, we're also going to have to export the certificate as well. So I'm going to go to my objects and I'm going to create my decryption profile. My decryption profile, which I'm going to use for the inbound inspection. So this is management profile. Okay, so we're going to block sessions with unsupported versions and block sessions with unsupported ciphers. Then our SSL protocol settings are going to be max and 1.3. Okay, so now we have the protocol settings and the profile for our decryption policy. And our decryption policy is going to look like this. So it's going to be our inbound management. Okay, now source is going to be internet. And it's going to go to the internet, and then the destination addresses are going to be, I'm just going to type these in, so 192.168.0.105 in case we're going to that. And then 192.168.0.92. Service is going to be HTTPS because that's what we're going to do, and we're going to decrypt. It's going to be inbound inspection, and then we're going to add both of our certificates. The reason I'm adding both certificates is what I found was, and if anybody can help with why this is, please feel free. What I found was, if I didn't add both, I got a critical error from the client because it didn't trust it, even though I'd exported the certificate. And then we've got our management profile, and we're going to log both successful and unsuccessful, just for giggles, really. Okay, so that's now our rule. Our rule is in. So we've got our rule. We've got our configuration on here for the actual management profile itself. We just need to attach now, so we've got that there, which is now taking its time, obviously, just to do my heading. Right, so there you go, it's management profile. So now on our network, we have management profile is inbound management, so that we're running, just to show you that. Okay, so inbound management has got SSH, HTTPS and ping, as you would expect. You can add permitted IP addresses to here, but this is based on the fact that we're trying to sort of open it up to the internet, so to speak, as safely as possible. Okay, our zones. We've got our internet zone there, which is just outside, which are typical best practices, basically, so we don't have user ID enabled, don't have device ID enabled or anything like that. Okay, we're not going to concern ourselves too much about our zone protection profile at the minute because this is for demonstration purposes, but you'd probably have a zone protection profile on there anyway. Okay, so we're going to commit that configuration now to the firewall. Okay, and that is now committed. Just as a side note or something that you will hit. So once you've changed the SSL TLS management profile of the management interface, you're going to get the web server will need to be restarted, and that's because it needs to be the web server itself is being restarted. So you'll need to refresh your browser window once that's done. So we're going to close that, refresh the browser window. Still got the privacy error. Even though we can see now that we have the certificate that we want to have, it's about clearing off the cache at this point. So we've got our certificate, all our certificates in place as it should be. Okay, so now as we can see, we've got no error message there. I've just refreshed the browser. Also say as well that off screen I did export the firewall root certificate because that needs to be on the device that I'm using for it to trust it. So that again is, I mean, it's something that we've covered previously as well, so there shouldn't really be an issue with it. But certificates, you can then export it, and then you need to import it the way you'd normally import a certificate into your trusted root store, and it's got to be the trusted root certificate. So they just highlight it and then export that certificate. Okay, just to show you that we can get to it by the DNS. The reason why that is because I've put it in my host file, so my host file is there. And I won't get a certificate error now because I've got those in the subject alternative name for the IPs. So if I go there by 105, if I go there by IP, I don't get a certificate error, and if I go there by the what we're calling the in-band, or the thing that's on the internet, go there, I also won't get that because of that certificate. And now we should be able to see that we have got traffic being decrypted as well. So if we just go back to the monitor tab and look at the traffic, we can see now that we have, if we ignore this one, so if we just take that out there, that's the other system that's logged into it at the minute. Okay, we can see that this is my 10.127.2.2. That's this device is logged into it, and we've got the decrypted yes or no column there, and we can see that it's being decrypted. And if we also go to decryption logs, because we were we were logging both successful and unsuccessful handshakes. Again, we can see that same source address there. We can see that it's trusted, and then we have no errors, and we can see that that is being decrypted. So now that's being decrypted, we can then start to apply the security profiles to a rule specifically. So if we want to do that now, okay, let's go and let's build our profiles, or our profile group. Okay, so we're going to create a profile group, which is going to be our default profile group. Default profile group. Okay, and then antivirus, what we're going to do is we're going to use we're just going to clone this. Give you an idea of how quickly you can actually do this, and we'll just rename this mode 44 antivirus. Okay, anti-spyware. We'll clone the strict. Rename it. For anti-spyware. Okay. The vulnerability protection, this is the one where we were talking about it previously, so go with vulnerability protection. We'll go with the default one, or should we go? Let's clone the strict one. So we can clone the strict one. Okay. We'll call this a mode 44. Vulnerability, if I spelled that correctly. Okay, right, so with this here now, because we've gone for strict, what we need to do is we need to look at these rules here. This is where we build up our vulnerability rules. So in this particular instance, because we've gone for the strict one, we've got simple, client, critical, and critical is reset both. And server is also reset both. Now that's very important, because if we were to look at the default one, for instance, I know you can see it there, but I do it this way. So if we look at the default one, so the default action is what we're going to take for critical. Okay, so if we were to then look into the exceptions, we're going to show all signatures. Okay, and then just pick the first one, which is 95746. Okay, so 95746, which is one of the threat IDs that's cited within that security advisory. The default action is to alert and not do a packet capture. So that would alert based on that rule, but it wouldn't block it. And that's a medium severity as well. So actually in this one, so we have medium is reset both. So it's actually all reset both. So I was a little bit wrong there, but there are others. 95747. 5747. Thank God for that. You restored a little bit of faith in me, I hope. So that's actually a reset server. Okay, so in that respect, all you've got to do is just make sure that you have these threat signatures enabled to do what you want them to do. So we can then just keep going down the line. So 752. 752. And again, that's critical, and then reset 753. That would be a medium and alert as well. You can see the idea. However, in this particular instance, because we've cloned that vulnerability profile, the strict one, all of ours are going to be reset both for all of them. Okay, so now we're going to do that. We're going to go back to our security profile groups, create our default one. Okay, and this is what we're going to tell it that we're going to use. We're going to use mode 4 antivirus, use anti-spyware. Now vulnerability protection is going to be mode 44 vulnerability protection profile. Could use a file blocking profile. This again has got strict file blocking. That means that you kind of look at if they're trying to upload files to or from. You could do that, and of course I always put in, just for the sake of it, the default, which is to send anything it doesn't see or anything it doesn't know, sorry, to Wildfire. So then we're going to create our policy. This again could be customized. Could be customized to if you wanted to put it a loop back, for instance, or you wanted to put your other one in your in-band in a different zone, then you have that in a different zone. Then you'd have to create rules from the internet zone to whatever that zone was. So we're going to call this in-band. No, let's call it. Yeah, let's call it in-band management. Okay. Now, we could make this, because of this situation, we could go for an intrazone rule. Okay, I'm going to select internet. Destination zone is grayed out because we've gone for an intrazone rule. 92, which is the one that we're going to go for. That's the only one that they can reach because the 105 is on the inside. The application is going to be SSL. And SSH. Okay, we're going to do application defaults. We don't want them going in any other ports. And then we're going to allow, and we're going to add our group in, which is our default group. Okay, we could log at session start if we wanted to. And now we have a rule in, and we have a rule that is going to inspect that traffic when we go through to it. Again, if you were routing through to your management interface, you could then put your management interface behind this as well. But now basically, not only have we got TLS 1.3 and we've changed the certificate from the default certificate to our certificate that we then control, but also we've added a decryption policy. So we're decrypting that traffic as it comes in. So there should be nothing that can be, don't know why it hasn't updated the hit counts, but there you go. There's nothing then that it's missing. There's nothing that can be missed by it because it's decrypting traffic, it's seeing it in plain text. And we've got our security profiles on there as well to do all of that security inspection on that traffic. We'll just see how that's going. It's nearly... Okay, so that's now committed, and thankfully for my own sanity more than anything else, you can now see that we've got a hit count as well on the rule usage there. So in essence, there may be some other stuff to iron out, but that's basically how we then create the certificates. Now we've got a certificate on there, and we've got a decryption rule that is running, and we are decrypting that traffic. And it's made you that bit safer. Again, if we look into the logs, we can also see. If we look into it when it comes up, there we go. We've also got the decrypted flag set there as well. Okay, so trying to think if there's anything else specifically. I don't think there is. You could also put the permitted IPs. So where we have in the interface rule, I don't know why it's taking so long now. It's doing my head in, but where we have in here, so we have permitted IPs as well. So we can put permitted IPs to the management. So you would want to put maybe your own internal range. So if I put my .0.0/24, if I put that in there, then it would only permit from there. And again, the interface management profile also allows the same thing. You can also have permitted IP addresses, as you can see there. Okay, so I hope that helps. Let me know in the comments below. Let me know if I've missed anything, or if you think anything needs to be changed, or whatever. But that is really following the best practices and the Palo Alto recommended mitigation for CVE 2024-0012.